This morning we are at the Senior Center, Danvers Senior Center, and with two lovely coordinators and managers. And we have Pamela Parkinson with us today, Director of Senior and Social Services, and Paula Cohen, Program Coordinator. So what we'd like to do is give an opportunity for the residents to know what the Senior Center is all about. We will ask some questions. I have some questions in regard to the closure and the opening of the Senior Center right now and the functions. So what I'd like to do is, Pamela, is you could please give a brief descriptions and duties that are your assignment at this facility. This is a senior center for the town of Danvers, and it has been in existence, how many, 24 years?
In this building, we've been 22 years.
22 years, I remember that because
But
I
prior
was,
to that, they were established, a couple of different spots. The Holton School, then over at Sylvan Street.
across from the town
Town
hall.
hall,
I
yeah.
remember those days. So, Pamela, your show.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mark. As Mark said, my name's Pamela Parkinson. I'm Director of Senior and Social Services for the town of Danvers. What that entails is basically the overall function and operation of the programs and services we provide here at the Danvers Senior Center, as well as being the licensed social worker for the town of Danvers, which allows me to work with residents of all ages with a wide range of needs and issues that we try to find referrals and resources to help them to access their needs. Here's squeaky floor. So that, and that also entails the day-to-day operation of the senior center, which would be all of the programs and services we offer, our transportation program, nutrition programs, with support, adult supportive day program, what am I leaving out? Social services here, health insurance counseling for everyone, and a daily, well, I said the nutrition program. So those are the basic functions of the senior center.
Well, what I'd like to do, and I found this on your table this morning, the mission of the Danvers Council on Aging and Senior Center, which it manages, is to provide and advance those programs and services which enrich the lives of older adults in the Danvers community.
That's correct.
And as you know, I have advanced into the elderly population, so I am interested in what's going on here. So, please go on. Any other services?
You want to talk about any of your programs?
Well, we'll get to the programs, and what we'll have is Paula give us a brief description of what are the programs and how you coordinate it, and who the heck are you?
Okay.
Go on.
I am Paula Cohen, Program Coordinator for the Danvers Council on Aging. My role is to coordinate, set up classes, activities, trips, events, and everything else that goes on. I do all that in conjunction with the entire staff here. I'm out there setting up the classes, signing people up for the classes, so they feel very comfortable with me, giving me ideas and suggestions for activities, as well as getting them from my coworkers. And we try and implement whatever they say. We try it.
Well, whatever we say, but I mean, is that directed from the public, from the population that we serve?
Well, I will get suggestions for people for classes and activities, and I take the ball and I roll with it and try and get it up and running. that's how adult coloring worked. I can't think off the top
You
of my
got
head.
poker games going on here too, don't you?
I think they play cards. I'm not sure what they play.
It's poker.
I'm not sure what they play.
So no, the one thing that I identified in my questions is there's a two-role mission of the senior center. It is for the social services and for the senior center services. So can you just give me an idea of what are the different roles that you play?
Well, in regards to the social services, we work with, it's people of all ages, but if you want me to narrow that down to my role with just seniors, we have folks that come in that are dealing with potential homelessness, eviction, inability to pay rent, at risk for having utilities shut off in their homes, food insecurity, another huge issue, health insurance, so we will help provide assistance in getting people on housing lists or getting them applications to get food stamps or SNAP benefits as it's called today, fuel assistance programs. So, I mean, and honestly, there's such a wide diversity of needs that come up in the course of a day, a week, or a month that it's impossible to name them all. But that kind of gives you a summary of the kind of things that we deal with. We also deal with people who have, issues where they are potentially being abused or neglected or taken advantage of financially in some way. So we work very closely with North Shore Elder Services, which is now partnered with Merrimack Valley Elder Services, and work with them and their professionals to report any cases of people who may be being abused in any way.
So the point I was, getting to is that there's a dual role that the Danvers Senior Center provides.
Yes.
And it's not just the attendance to,
It's not just bingo.
right,
There's a lot more than bingo going on
that's
here.
what I was trying to get across.
Yeah.
So, now, the next item that I brought up on my questions that I provided to you is we have gone through a very traumatic experience during the last 15, 18 months.
Yeah.
And the senior center, when and why did the senior center close in 2020?
Well,
Or did it close?
it did.
Okay.
It did. On March 12th, a leadership team meeting was convened at about 12:30 in the afternoon in the Toomey Room at Town Hall because there was growing concern about the rising number of positive COVID cases in the state and in Danvers locally and other North Shore communities. So we met, and with guidance from the Governor Baker, as well as from the CDC and local public health, the leadership team discussed all of the different options and concerns, and out of an abundance of caution, the decision was made to temporarily work remotely until we knew more about this pandemic, which of course nobody ever expected it to be what it turned out to be. We were told to go back to our offices, instruct our staff to gather whatever work they needed to be able to continue to conduct business at home, which was what was done. We worked closely with the town so that not all staff might have been prepared technology-wise to be able to do all of their functions, and the town was able, through the amazing work of our IT department that worked nonstop through this whole thing, helping to coordinate everybody so we could do everything we needed to do from home. No one knew about doing virtual meetings and Zoom and Teams and, what's the other one that we had?
WebEx.
WebEx, and yeah, we had to go through a few of them to find the best one. It took a good 15 months, but, yeah, so that's what happened. We went home and it went pretty much from a week to week basis, you know.
You
when
adapted.
we had to. There was a
Right.
major pivot. It wasn't an easy transition, especially for a business like ours or an agency like ours where we work with people. I mean, for us, it's the face-to-face contact, it's the, the reassurance, the support, and just the, people feeling that there's somebody out there for them, that they have that contact. So that was hard.
Okay, and your staff level here is what, 6 people or 7?
We have 7 full-time staff, and normally, non-COVID time, we have about 25 part-time staff.
Right, to support the different functions.
Yes.
And how long and was the staff utilized in this fashion? When did we actually open the doors and came in and operated as a normal senior center?
Okay, well, before we get to that part, I have to say that from day one when we left here, we hit the ground running, working. It may not have been in that face-to-face contact that we're accustomed to in non-COVID times, but we immediately convened as a group with my staff, the 7 of us, doing, we identified homebound isolated seniors. We provided over 2,000 phone calls to, I think it was like 650 some odd individuals that we routinely contacted. Sometimes only once because they said they didn't want phone calls, and sometimes it was 5 times a week for some people. And staff were assigned, and they had specific people, myself included, that we had about probably between 30 and 40 or
Yeah.
so people each. And that number changed because if people didn't want calls, then we picked up some other people just to try to reach out to as many people as we can, to let them know that there was somebody that was, concerned about them and that they could call us, which people were able to do. Our phones continued to run. We monitored our phone lines every day, and all calls were answered and returned, and usually daily, and unless it came in late, and then it was returned the next day.
That definitely probably did not ever stop.
That never stopped, no.
And I phrased that properly. But the thing is that when we opened the door, when was the date that we allowed the public to come in and...
The first date that we opened our door was on, and this was not to the general public, but on May 17th. Back in April, I proposed a plan to the town and to the Board of Health with what protocols we would follow in order to open, because we were very much concerned about the 20-plus people that attend our supportive day program. Those are seniors that just need a little bit more attention and, yes, and some structure and supervision. So we started that plan, or I started that plan in April. It went through the chain of command to be reviewed and make sure that it was acceptable, and there were certain protocols in place at the time based on what the governor and the CDC was recommending in terms of 6-foot distancing, in terms of, we were even like going to take temperatures, and everybody was required to wear a mask, and hand washing and sanitation as far as disinfecting between all of the stuff that we've all been hearing over these past 15 to 18 months. And then lo and behold, so we opened the first day on Monday, May 17th, to the supportive day program only. And at 11 o'clock a.m., the governor came on and made the announcement that they were going to be lifting all restrictions as of May 29th. We had already had in place a plan to open on July 7th to the general public. We wanted to have, at the time, because there were these restrictions and there was still a concern about the, passing of COVID, spreading of COVID amongst people in close quarters, indoors, that sort of thing. So we were following those guidelines, but then we said, oh, now this isn't going to be required anymore. We still required it for those 2 weeks that we were open. We did, if people came to the door and wanted to come in, they could come in and ask a question, talk to a staff, but there were no other activities going on here at that time in the building.
Okay, thank you. What was the reaction of the seniors during this time frame? I mean, what was your impression of how did the seniors feel about this? Were they frustrated by the restrictions because they were recommendations, they were not legal restrictions?
Right.
But this was all for the good of the general public.
I mean, as far as the closure, is that what you're
Right,
referring to?
yes.
Honestly, people wanted to self-isolate. People, this population that we were working with, they weren't chomping at the bit, or questioning early on, why are you not open? They were disappointed, they were lonely, there were a lot of other feelings going on there, but I think they, for the most part, were really concerned about their safety, knowing that they were the population that was at greatest risk because of their age and because of other underlying comorbidities they may have.
Comorbility, morbility.
Morbilities, thank you.
Yes.
Can we cut that part out?
Yes. No, but that was a serious issue, but that's personal responsibility in a way.
It is,
So-
but you can't count on everybody to be personally responsible when it affects your own health. You can only do what you can do for yourself.
Right. So now, as a reaction, did the seniors especially, and I know my neighbors themselves, have isolated to the point where nobody was even on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that we had to reach out to our neighbors just to knock on the door and you guys okay and what's going on and can we do anything? And I think that's what the senior center or your office was doing to reach out to, how many seniors do we have in Danvers?
There's over 6,700 right now.
I had 6,000 on there.
Yeah, and that's still a low number. When we get our 2020 census numbers, I think
Right.
we're going to see a pretty.
And
big
how
increase.
many of those are members or participate at the senior center during normal times?
Well, during normal times, on a daily basis, we range between 70 and 125 individuals a day.
And they may not be the same ones each day.
Some of them are duplicated. Some people come 5 days a week. Some people might only come in once to borrow a piece of durable medical equipment, or, to ask a question or to pick up a newsletter for their parent to try to,
Good.
get them in themselves.
Well, I estimated that in my 6,000. That's what I figured.
So usually, I think on our annual report, it's usually somewhere around 1,200 unduplicated individuals in an annual cycle.
When the senior center did begin to open, and was there any limitations on the occupancy? This is
Only-
May 17th on.
May 17th, yes. July 7th, no. There was no social distancing. There was no class size restrictions. Masks were encouraged if you were not
Right,
vaccinated.
right. For your own protection.
We do not have the right to ask people if they're vaccinated
You got it.
or unvaccinated.
I agree.
But I will tell you, the majority of people are so proud to be vaccinated. It was such a unbelievable, anxiety-provoking time when the vaccines came out and people couldn't get access to them. Especially, initially it was the 75-plus group, then
Right.
it was the 60-plus group, and we were working. I mean, again, another example of some of the work that we did when we did come back to the building, but were closed to the public. We helped over 868 people access vaccinations. Before there was a 211 number to call for the state, that was us.
Right.
All of the calls, we had Excel spreadsheets with thousands of names on
And that's
it.
a service that the senior center, or your organization,
That's
provides for us.
And that's part of what we do, is try to identify what the unmet needs are. How do we address it? What can we do within our role to help seniors to access what they need?
Okay, I have a question here, and I think I've already asked the question, but I'll ask it again.
Sure.
When did the senior center open to the general public? And you said May 17th?
That was not the general public, no. That was a soft opening to get the supportive day program in, because we still had restrictions at that time.
Okay,
So we knew it was gonna be a difficult transition for these people who had been isolated
Right.
for 15 months to come back, into a public setting and wear masks and space out. So we didn't want a lot of people in here at that time. We wanted to get them reacclimated to the program. As I said, the governor said at 11 o'clock that day. We already knew we were opening on July 7th. The only difference that made was that on July 7th, we didn't have to have any of those restrictions in place.
well, July 7th is 2 weeks from now.
Oh, I'm sorry, June.
I didn't
Well,
even
that's
catch that.
what I was confused
I'm sorry.
about,
Yes.
because it's wide open right now.
It is,
Access
it
is
is.
available. July 7th is the wrong date, but has
No,
anyone
June.
been refused access during the May 17th to June 7th?
No, people have been told if they wanna come in, they can, but we inform them, there are no activities, there's no congregate meal site,
Okay.
there was no, there weren't even other people congregating here to socialize. We have invited people right from the very beginning, if they wanted to come out and use our patio. We've had bocce going on before we were open outside, we've had a walking group going on.
Good.
So, as well as all of our other virtual activities that were going on. But no, if somebody came in, if somebody wanted to go in and see one of the veterans agents, they had people coming in. Early on, we had to have everybody who came in, we had to do a contact tracing. So we had to have people sign that they were here, so that if somebody got sick, we wanna make sure that anybody who
I
had
know.
contact, obviously we're trying. Again, my go-to answer is out of an abundance of caution. With this age group and population, we
So-
didn't feel we couldn't do enough.
So now, as of June 7th,
June 7th, yes.
we are totally open.
That's correct,
However, we are ramping up our programs
exactly.
to a constant level that will be in effect similar to what it was in 2019.
2020,
No.
January, February, and half
Oh
of
yeah,
March.
that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I remember going to Jamaica on February 1, 2020, and we came back and everything was shut down.
Yeah, all hell
So.
broke loose.
But nothing happened in Jamaica.
Yeah,
All right, so the next question that I raise is, what programs are currently being reinstituted for the seniors of Danvers? For the seniors of Danvers, I'm not talking about social programs, I'm talking about what is the senior center's motivation to get people back and let them participate in the activities.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna pass that question on to Paula, but
I
I
am
would
too.
just like to say that we do not only provide services to seniors of Danvers.
I know.
We are a public building, and we get money from the government and from the state, and people from Peabody, Salem, wherever can come in here, and that's not a problem at all.
Well,
Anybody
that-
60 and older. But we do have certain things that are available just to Danvers residents. But I just wanted to clarify that, and Paula can talk about the programs.
Well, what I wanted to go back to the original statement in regard that this is a dual function organization here. It's not just for the seniors of Danvers, but it's also for social programs that are funded and we participate in as Danvers for the community. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Paula, you're on.
Okay. Well, some of the activities that are going on currently, we've got Zumba a couple of times a week. We have art classes, mahjong, pool players, bridge players. Mr. Fix-It is back. We have the live Maple Sugar Jazz Band every Thursday starting today. Chair yoga.
Fitness center,
We have the fitness center that's open all week, 5 days a week.
the knitters.
The knitters. There's,
Poker games,
I like
Card
to call it
games.
card games.
card games,
Card games,
whatever.
When I don't sit,
They play for pennies, it's great.
But yeah, everybody's back and it's great.
Okay, so when these programs are coming back into rotation,
Mhm.
basically, and they are being participated by the seniors, so you offer these programs when people sign up, or do you offer them on a regular basis?
On some are structured classes, but there's a lot of activities that are just drop in.
Good.
Come in, play cards, play pool, play mahjong, use the fitness center,
Board games.
board games.
Right.
There's
Bingo.
bingo. There's just so much.
Bingo.
Bingo Fridays, 10 to 11:30. Join me.
Well, the question that I had here is when and what social programs have been offered during the shutdown? None.
Well,
That's
during
not
the
true.
shutdown,
Yeah.
we were very fortunate. Some of our instructors went right away to Zoom, and we had Zumba twice a week, chair yoga once a week. I did bingo
Every week.
every week.
How was the reception of that? Because I, as a senior, now are sometimes not very useful in the computer activities.
I'll tell you, the program we used, Webex. I am not a technology person, and
Right.
God bless the bingo people for sticking with me because I had my glitches for a couple of weeks. Some people they were able to just call in from their home phone. They didn't need a computer. There was a number you could call,
Right.
and it worked wonderfully. I mean, we had people, I would say, from like 63 to 87 doing bingo with us every week, and that started out with maybe 10 people, and it built up to like 20, and then when we started back in person, we had 30 people.
Good.
And it's different every week, sometimes more, it can be less.
But they did participate. That's the key.
They did, and they looked forward to it every week, and they said, it's the one time of the week that I get to see other people, because for those that were on a computer,
Right.
they could see everybody.
Well, see, that's the social
Absolutely.
effect that we're missing, and what has happened with this isolation is we've removed that social bond,
Yeah.
and even our kids are more afraid of what's going on than us seniors. So, are there any restrictions on the numbers distancing, masks, or any other requirements for these programs for now. They're
No,
gone.
No,
That's what I wanted to get across. Are all programs back in place and attendance has been increasing?
I would say some of the activities has increased because people who hadn't been for a long time, they now found a friend who wants to come with them,
Right.
which is wonderful.
Okay, great. I like that. How do you notify the general seniors population about the availability of these facilities and these programs?
Well, we advertise.
How do you advertise?
We advertise in our newsletter.
The
our
newsletter
monthly
goes
newsletter.
to seniors that have signed up for it.
To-
What about the 6,000 people that we have sitting out there in their living room doing?
Well, a lot of our programming is on DCAT. We're very fortunate. I was able to film some of the Zumba and chair yoga and Tai Chi, and it's shown on DCAT.
Good.
Facebook, press
We
releases.
press releases, pictures in the local papers.
Okay.
And we
Things like
also do outreach to different, like, the housing authorities. We schedule a time to go into their community room, invite people down and have some coffee in Danish or something and tell them about the things that we do. That's something that our Triad group does on a routine basis. Of course, Triad hasn't been operating and it hasn't ramped back up again, but that's something we do normally, COVID or non-COVID time, in order to get the word out about our services. I was thinking of something else, but I forgot it while I was listening
Well,
to you.
I have the question that I raise, and this is a public service message that I'm going to put out as part of my program. And how can we attract and improve the participation in the programs that we offer, and what can be improved? And the thing is, what is stopping us from improving things? Are there any restrictions that are placed on the senior center or the?
Well, budgetary is always.
Well,
a
forget about budget.
restriction.
Budgets are gone.
Well,
Now look
I
at the
mean,
governor. He has too much money coming in, and now he's going to offer a tax moratorium on sales tax for 2 months.
Oh, I
Oh,
wasn't aware of that.
yeah. Why can't you get some of that money?
I don't know.
There you go. So what I'm reaching out is I think our general public deserves to know about these programs, and that's what I'm here, because I've been sort of hearing different things from different people, and I said, well, let's do a face-to-face, because that's the best way to advertise. And what we're going to do is we're going to run this program for probably next 3 weeks, 4 or 5 times a day.
Wonderful.
A week. I'm sorry, a week. They won't let me do it a day. So, the one suggestion that I noted on here, and I know that I sent you the questions at 10 o'clock last night, but that's the best time I do my best work at night. An open house at the senior center may be a way to attract our 6,000 seniors to partake into the social circle for friendship and cooperation. This may provide an opportunity to advertise the facility and its functions. Now, we have a notification program through the town hall when they tell you to go and vote, and when the snow ban is in place.
Changes, yeah.
Why can't we organize an open house or a barbecue or something, that they can come and just to see what the facility is all about? And I'll volunteer to cook if you want.
Okay, we may take you up on that.
Well, I know you will.
Well, I have to say that we've been doing open houses. I've been here for 16 years in September, and we've done at least 12, almost every year. Well, actually, I can say yearly because we participate in the town-wide annual open house.
Right.
And I gotta tell you a truth, Mark, that maybe some people might not wanna hear, but people don't wanna know anything about a senior center until they need it. So the
Well-
general population, no, I'm just gonna say, we have the town-wide town-wide open house. We have a nice trolley that will take people through. They don't even have to drive, whatever. And really, the participation rate is basically people just running in to see what goodies we have to give out
Right.
and to run out.
That's not the kind of an open house I'm talking about. I'm talking about a focused.
We've done that as well, but we put the word out there, right, through social media, through our newsletter. We have a robocall capability that we have for anybody that is in our My Senior Center, which there's gotta be thousands
Yeah.
in that group. Normally, we don't wanna bug every person about everything that's not relevant, but Paula can use that for anybody who's ever taken a class here. She can send out a general message and, narrowing in on that demographic alone. Or if we want anybody who's used our transportation before, if we've expanded that program, we can send out a message in that regard. So we do a lot of outreach, and as far as open houses, we did an annual birthday party one year with a
Yeah.
pig roast, and we had 250 people that came one day. I mean, the serving size started to dwindle by the end of the day because we never anticipated, it was just a drop-in thing. We have a lot of events every single month that could be considered, but people don't, a lot of people don't think they're seniors, and myself included is one of them. I joined the club 2 years ago. Paula joined the club last year.
I haven't.
See?
People think that this is just a place for old people to come and spend their time, and that's not the truth.
This is where I think our outreach has to go out to the general public, not just the seniors, because we already have them as captive seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we need to do is get to the families and say, hey, this is something that your father or your grandfather, or even, what about kids from school? Do we have kids come down? And I think we do, right?
We have the Highland School, their, what
The
group is it?
fifth grade.
The fifth grade group come over. Now, that hasn't happened in 2 years now
Right.
because of COVID.
Right.
But they would come over every Friday. They would have lunch with the seniors. They would bring Italian ice for the seniors, and they'd have an ice cream at the end of their meal. We do a lot of work with the high school kids in terms of community service. As a matter of fact, during COVID, when we first shut down, and our volunteers, who are all in the high-risk population group as being older citizens, couldn't continue to do the volunteer work that they were doing, and even a lot of our employees who were in the higher risk group population. In order to keep things running, we had initially the town provided a meal for people through the school department, and we had wonderful volunteers throughout the whole community that gave of their time to go provide a contact and a home delivery to whoever required it. And then when that stopped after the end of the school year, we did a grab and go program and continued. Our Meals on Wheels program never stopped.
I was in
One
the
day.
kitchen a few minutes ago, and it's interesting
And
how you
the
operate.
number of people that we deliver meals to doubled during COVID, and that number is still at that doubled rate.
Great.
So then when the school closed, then we got the National Honor Society group of students from the school volunteered their time to do the home delivery. So we had a group of maybe about 14 total kids that came in throughout the whole summer. They did, a lot of them doubled up so that, they had a buddy system. There were a couple kids that didn't have their license yet, and their parents would drive them to deliver. I mean, it was an amazing program.
What is their reaction to doing this community service? Did they?
The kids?
Yes.
They loved it.
because the parents.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
John. Well, now we have our four. John Toomey is my co-host, and
Oh, how do you do?
sit down, John. And I've invited him just to participate, and he's a senior, right?
We know John.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been in and out of this place quite often.
All right. So what we're wrapping up right now, but what I'd like to do is like to give you an opportunity to invite all the seniors that are out there and come in and see you or Paula and participate in the functions that we hold here. So here's your opportunity.
Well, we're open and ready for business. We are here 8 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. As we go into the summer months, you'll see that we're adding some evening activities. We have a patio party, which is a wonderful opportunity to get out on a Wednesday night from 5 to 7, and or it might actually start earlier
I
now
think
because our
4:30,
hours
yeah.
changed. So 4:30 we do hamburgers and hot dogs, $1 a burger, $1 a dog. Inflation may have caused that to go up a little bit this
No,
year,
you
but
don't.
we also have ice cream sundaes. We have live entertainment that's sponsored by one of the local long-term care facilities. Who's doing that?
Brentwood
Brentwood.
and Blueberry Hill
In
combined.
Blueberry Hill. And that's a wonderful activity where people come and it's turned into quite a social event because somebody might bring a little salad, somebody might bring a bag of chips, somebody else brings pickles. So it's become a real social kind of like back home.
The old-fashioned
barbecue.
picnic.
Yeah, it's a wonderful event. We missed doing that last year. We're doing that again this year. We're also having an ice cream social coming up in
Yeah.
July. But yeah, we're open. Any questions, just please come in and see us. We try very hard to be a welcoming center. We are nationally accredited, and I wanna get a plug in for that because we've worked. That's a really hard mission to accomplish. And
20 years this year accredited.
20 years. Yeah, we
Wow.
were the second.
You and the police department.
The second senior center in the state of Massachusetts to get accredited, and I don't know how many have maintained the accreditation because it's every 5 years. But I will say that one of the things that was most remarkable to me and makes me most proud is that our senior center is said to be very welcoming, very open, very supportive, and people feel like they're home away from home, really.
Is there an email or a contact number that they should call to get an invitation to come and see you two?
Yep, you can call us at the main number at the senior center is 978-762-0208. And Paula, the website for if people want to access our newsletter, they can.
It's the town website, danversma.gov. You click on departments, click on senior and social services, and it'll pop right up.
You
So
can
repeat
actually-
that again.
So the website is the town website, danversma.gov. Click on departments, then click on senior and social services, and it'll pop right up with a link to click on the newsletter. Any questions? Call me.
There you go. All right, ladies and John, thank you for coming. I think I misled you on the address, did I?
I just had one question.
Sure.
Do you have any idea how many people you actually work with?
Sure. Yes, we on a daily basis, the occupancy ranges from about 70 to 125
Right.
a day, depending on what activities are going on. But in the course of the year, it's somewhere in the number of 1,200 individuals that we may see, once, or we may see some of
Multiple
those people
times, yeah.
multiple times, right?
Ladies, John,
I'm all set, yeah.
thank you very much for,
Thank you for letting
doing
us-
this. I think this is a public, notice to the general public. And what I like to do is after this, if Paula would join me and take a little tour around, we'll take a few
Sure.
shots here and there. This morning we're here with
Paula Cohen.
Paula Cochran, and we're visiting the senior center with all of the different functions. So what we want to do is, Paula, can you give us a rundown of what is happening here?
Well, welcome. This is our wonderful lobby. It's very welcoming with our fireplace and living room. We have books and puzzles that people come by and take on a regular basis.
And
And outside here is our beautiful patio. We can look at that after.
we'll look at that after. Thank
It's
you.
our front desk.
All right, let's go to the front desk.
We have our receptionist Kim working.
And then we have this,
We have Lorene Machado, who is not at her desk. She is our administrative assistant and transportation coordinator. Kathy Andre is our volunteer and nutrition coordinator. Further back, you can't see, we have Lisa Westrate, our outreach coordinator, and Maureen Howlett.
here we go.
As you can see, this is our Zumba class that meets twice weekly, Tuesdays and Thursdays with Priscilla Gerard. Priscilla also did the Zoom classes. So that's going on here now, and then after this class, Public Works comes. They're very good to us, and they help us set up, because this afternoon, we have John Kendrick's Maple Sugar Jazz Band here. Live jazz band every Thursday at 1 o'clock.
What do we have? Probably 25 people?
20,
30?
there's usually 25 to 30 in each class.
This is good exercise and good social contact.
Absolutely. Today they're working on cleaning up some fans. But tell them about some of the things that you normally fix. Oh, they're helping us with the walker. We got a newfangled walker.
Yeah, we closed it up.
Good job.
We tried to fix everything. We fixed toasters, we fixed radios, we tried to play with them, get them to work. If you have something, bring it in, we'll evaluate it and try to fix it for you.
Paula, do the introductions one more time.
Sure. We have two of our Mr. Fix-Its here. We have Buddy Casale and Frank Serena.
Thank you very much. All right, and you are?
I am Kathy Andre, and I am the nutrition coordinator here. And we just finished breakfast, so things are a little bit messy. We just cleaned up from our breakfast. This is Julia Ryan. She's one of our Meals on Wheels drivers. And there's Mackenzie Schmick. She's another one of our Meals on Wheels drivers, and they do a great job for us. They're dependable, reliable, and here for the summer, and we love it. Thanks, girls.
Thank you, girls.
And we're sending out of the kitchen today about 150 meals.
And how many meals do you put out a day?
Typically, it's about 120 today because we have weekend frozen and our social seniors are here. It's about 150.
Hey, hang on. Okay, now.
Okay, this is Kim Johnson, who is filling in for one of our drivers who is out sick today. So she fills a number of positions, not just receptionist, but Meals on Wheels driver or whatever is necessary at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
we're gonna do this at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, go.
All right, so this is our beautiful patio where we have our patio parties Wednesdays starting July 14th. People come out here, they sit and they have lunch. Some people bring their own brown bag lunch and just sit here and have lunch. This is Rob Roy. He is one of our bocce members. And as you can see over here, this is our beautiful bocce court. Next to the Gates Field, of course.
That's right. That's more
Beautiful
important.
Gates Field. But they practice bocce on Monday and Wednesday mornings, and they're now going to be having tournaments with Peabody. And when are they going to be doing that?
Next Wednesday, I wanted to tell you
Next
that
Wednesday, what time?
10 o'clock. They want to come
Wonderful.
here at 10 o'clock, and we'll hopefully have a little meeting with them, and maybe we'll do that once.
They're cooked, but it's not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
So we're doing the best we can with the virus and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to go into the center.
Well, our
but
center you can, but it's
but
the Peabody Center that's
Peabody
closed.
Center is going to allow us if we go there.
Oh, that's
ju-
nice.
Just to use the men's room and the water.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
I
How
Or the
many?
ladies' room, because we got ladies on
So
our
they-
team
yeah.
too.
How many members are going to be participating?
Well, we have probably about 10 members now with the
Good.
virus and stuff. Peabody has had a bigger number, but they're also with the virus and stuff. Not many people have come back to play bocce right now. So hopefully, as time goes on, we'll get more members, and we're trying to just keep busy and get outdoor activities in.
Would you like to invite a lot of the seniors to come and play bocce with you? Or?
Yes, it's in the senior newsletter every month, and everybody's welcome.
Mondays and Wednesdays at 9:30
30.
a.m.
At 9.
Oh, 9.
9.
Sorry.
And when we play on Wednesday, when we decide to play what the Wednesday is going to be, we're going to play at 10 o'clock because that's the time
For a
that they-
tournament, yeah.
for
Thank you very
interaction.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here we are at the Gates Field, which is set up for soccer. And this is the pride and joy of the Danvers DPW, and they take care of this very well. And it's right behind our senior center. And here's the parking lot in the back of the senior center. And here we have the outside garden and facilities that are available to our seniors. And it's a beautiful building, and it's very attractive, and the sun shines all the time. And here we have the bocce court. And basically this is a function of weather, but it is very attractive and it's very relaxing for our members. Here we are at the front entrance of the senior center, and there are vans, Danvers Council on Aging vans that transport people to doctor's appointments and other issues. And here's the front face of our senior center, which is very attractive, has a beautiful entrance, and we have plenty of parking in the area, so seniors don't have to walk too far to access any of the functions that are going on. At the front entrance, across from the driveway, is a walking trail that goes back into the wetlands behind the Highland School. Is it a Highland School, John? Yes. The walking trail continues through this bridge, over this bridge, and it goes back into the fields again for our younger members of our community to play soccer, baseball, football, whatever they need to do. The walking trail opens up onto additional fields, baseball field, and the Highland School, which is adjacent to the open fields and the senior center. So this is a complex of different functions that are done each and every day of the year.